Right. Shalom. First and foremost, like all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Okar Kadash, and the Heavenly Father. The true name is Yahweh and His only begotten Son, Bahashem. In the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, Balash Kodash, the Holy Tongue. And I say Barakatham to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, Wa'akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a World War Three news updates as of March the 7th, 2026 on this Saturday night. And this is from the Jerusalem Post. It says Trump will remember the lack of British support in Iran war. UK to increase military presence in the Mediterranean denies claims of Iran kidnapped U.S. soldier. Yeah, because that kind of caught my attention for a second. I thought that was true because, the tensions are really heating up, intensifying between Iran, the Iran armies versus the United States armies. And then there was a news article as I think I was walking outside, before I came back in about like an hour ago. I think it was like an hour ago because I was checking through my phone. I was like, man, a U.S. soldier potentially got kidnapped by Iranians. But I believe they, according to a report now, is saying that that report wasn't true. I believe. But besides that, we definitely seeing the increasing tensions are heating up between both sides, from the United States Army to the Iranian armies. As I'm bringing up this news article. Yep, it says March the 8th, 6:20 a.m. It says U.S. to increase military presence in the Mediterranean denies claims that Iran's kidnapped U.S. soldiers. It says the IDF has completed control of Iran's airspace. Israel threatens Lebanon with the disastrous consequence if Hezbollah does not disarm, which they're not going to disarm. Just like Iran, they're not going to disarm. Hezbollah, they're not going to be disarmed either. It says two Kuwaiti officers unalive in Iranian attacks. It says the USS George W. It says the USS George H.W. Bush to deploy to the Mediterranean Sea, becoming the third aircraft carrier in the region. It says like the MS Abraham Lincoln, the USS George H. Bush is in the Nemesis class supercarrier. It says Australia waiting requests for assisting from countries attacked by Iran. It says drone struck a UN building in Iraq, says security sources. The attack occurred in the northeastern Iraqi city. A drone on Saturday in a UN building in the northeastern of Iraq, the second largest city in the Iraqi Kurdistan, security sources told Reuters. This is a developing story. It says Trump, we will remember lack of British support for Iran, right? Because you have an division and fighting between, the Edomite nations, especially European Union and NATO as well too. It says the Kasyul rockets target U.S. embassy in Baghdad. The Iranian line militarized widening the attacks. The attacks was the first time embassy has been fired on more than 2 years. It says that Kathy Waisha rockets target a U.S. embassy in Baghdad on Saturday, and sirens sounded security forces. Witnesses say there was not immediately clear whether the rockets caused any damage or casualties. The attacks was the first the embassy had been fired on for more than 2 years. It says the latest rockets were strike was in late 2023, which was like 2.5 years ago. It says when around 7 Marketau rounds landed in the compounds, emitting a wave of attacks by the Iranian aligned militaries on the U.S. assets. in Iraq and Syria over Washington's support for Israel in its war against Hamas in Gaza. It says IDF launches new waves of strikes on Hezbollah targets and Beirut strikes rocket launch. Over 150 Iranian citizens leaves Lebanon after the IDF threatens to representatives in Beirut. Bring out that Matthews, the 24th chapter. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars, rumors, wars. Right, that's what we hear: wars, rumors, wars throughout the Middle East and throughout Western Asia and throughout the Gulf regions. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, and it's not yet. Right, so it's going to come to pass, but not going to end just yet. Matthew 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation. Right, we seeing Iran versus the Israel Defense Force and the proxy groups and the pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force, and Iran versus the Israel Defense Force. That's what you call nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places, right along with it. This is the book of Luke 21, verse 25. It says, there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars, and upon the earth progressive nations will perplexity rich war. Right, so we see a lot of uncertainty among the nations, and the nations are in perplexity. We see in the seditions, uprisings, wars and rumors of wars, modern day ruler against modern day ruler. So it's building up, it's increasing on a day-to-day basis. It's the book of St. Mark, chapter 3, and verse 24. Yahushua speaking in red letter. It says, and if a kingdom be divided against the other kingdom, not stand. So we're seeing these modern day nations and modern day kingdoms are being divided, which is only going to continue to increase. This is Jeremiah 51 and verse 46. It says, they shall hear faint, right harsh mind, ye fear for the rumor that should be heard in the land. And a rumor shall come both 1 year after that, another year shall come a rumor of God's land, ruler against ruler. Right, that's what we're seeing. And this is the prophet Isaiah 17 verse 1, right, prophecy about Damascus. As we see, tensions are heating up once again between the pro-Iranian groups going against the Israel Defense Force throughout Iraq and Syria, and especially particularly over there in Syria. It says, Isaiah 17 verse 1, the burden of Damascus, behold, Damascus take away from being the city, should be its roaring heat. Right, so Damascus of Syria is definitely going to be taken away from being the city, should be its roaring heat, because you still got, once again, ongoing escalations heating up over there in that region. Isaiah 17 verse 9, it says, in that day shall his grown cities be as for shaking, brought in the uttermost branch, which they left because the children of Israel there shall be desolate. Right, so that land shall be desolate. It's the book of Isaiah 13 verse 17. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which they shall not regard as silver, and as for gold, they shall not align it. Right, so Russia versus the United States is only going to continue to increase. Right on top of that, you got the Russia and Belarus going against the European Union and NATO. That's heating up as well, too. And this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38, verse 4. Now, it was a report came out that Russia was using intel to help Iran locate and target like any military equipments from either the Israel Defense Force or from the United States armies. That's why they've been using those heavy barrage of missiles over there in the Gulf region. I would say over there in different parts over there in the Mediterranean Sea, over there in Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, all those places over there as well too, and over there in Iraq and Syria. Because you've been seeing the economical alliance and military alliance been heating up between Russia and Iran. It says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horse and horsemen, all of them clothed for all sorts of armor. It says, even a great company, but the shields, all them hidden swords, right? So the Heavenly Father's going to continue to put the hooks and back to jaws of these Russians to continue to be in that warlike mindset. And that's what we see in, what's that, Joel, third chapter. Wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near to come up. That's why we still got the Russian-Ukraine situation still intensifying by the day. You got the NATO versus Russia that's heating up. And these allies that backs the European Union and NATO, they got their intense against Russia as well too. And this is Ezekiel chapter 38 verse 5. It says Persia, right, which is Elam, Ethiopia, Cushites, Libya, Put, all of them with shield of helmet, right? So all of them fully equipped with shield of helmet. Ezekiel 30 verse 6, Gomer, which is the modern day Turkey. And all his bands, the House of Tugmo of the North Course, all his bands have been people with the, right? Because you still got military bases of Turkey over there, Iraq and Syria. And that main focus is going to be to get going against the Israel Defense Force. Ezekiel 38 verse 7. It says, be thou prepared, prepare for thyself and all thy companies that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Right, so Russia is which represents the bear in Ezekiel 38 chapter, that they're going to be a guard to these nations, Iran, Ethiopia, Libya, and Turkey. It's the book of Revelations 11 verse 14. The second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly. Right, so the second will pass, behold, the third will come quickly. Of a major prophecy that's going to come to pass, be fulfilled, right along with the mark of the beast. So with that, hopefully this was edifying. The prophet. Hopefully this was edifying of the World War III news updates as of March the 7th, 2026 on this Saturday night. So with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Wakar Kadash, and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and his unbegotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach Yahushai. Those are their true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the Lashon Kodash, the Holy Tongue. And I say Barakathon. Once again to the elders and apostles, Ba'akim Ba'akwaf, and I say Shalom.
And breaking tonight, dozens of people forced out of their homes after part of a condo building collapsed in the northern suburbs.